So today was one of my best trading days into 2022. SPY ended up topping out towards that 429 gap close reversal level. And once I noticed that futures were selling off hard as SPY was dipping into the 424s, I had told members my game plan within the pre-market watch list is to buy put options if stocks can rip back up to the previous closing price to fill that gap for a reversal. In terms of the only one that ripped back up that was on my watch list, it was Visa. And I ended up making 100% profit return on these Visa put options in terms of all my average sells. I had some light size left for a 240% return. These are currently up over 400%. With that being said, I took a decent position size. I put in 20% of my portfolio into these puts. In terms of my average sells, I averaged for 100% win. So that puts my portfolio up 20% on the single day. What I'm gonna do is I am gonna show you how to trade this strategy that is not only changing my life, but members' lives within Trader Society. I literally bought put options on the exact high of day 1 minute candle for Visa stock, and they're currently up 400%. My average sells were way too soon for 100%, but it's a lot better compared to how I've been previously selling too soon for 30% in the morning. And guys, I got in at the exact top at the high of 1 minute candle. I bought these put options at the low when the stock was at the high. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you how to set the trend. I'm gonna show you how we get in right before the stock crashes. I'm gonna show you how to consistently make money within this market buying put options at the best prices. You will set the trend, you will get in on the best price, and I'm gonna show you it was the gap close reversal to fill the gap below strategy, which is the same strategy I previously used on the same stock to bank on it last week. Check out that second link in the description. You will see exactly what it is that I'm talking about. I'm using the same strategy to consistently make money. So I'm gonna teach you the strategy right now, step by step. Then towards the end of this video, I'm gonna show you my current trading plan heading into the market. I'm gonna show you how I'm planning to profit on put options heading into tomorrow. The market has lately been selling off every single Friday. There's a lot of selling pressure. Nobody wants to buy and hold over the weekend. So I'm gonna show you the best prices to buy the put options for tomorrow. Let's get right into it. Make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. So in terms of Visa stock, as you can see right here within Trader Society, this is my pre-market watch list. I had told members that I'm put option focused. Later into the night at like 3 a.m. when futures were selling off, I had told members that SPY cracked that key 425 level. It topped out at that key gap close reversal 429 level. So it's going to be on track to sell off hard. So the plan was to wait for stocks to spike to the previous closing price so we don't risk getting squeezed in case they have the morning rip. Visa was the only one from the watch list that ripped back up and drifted away from everything selling off, and it gave the perfect opportunity to buy puts at the previous closing price for the gap close reversal. Make sure you click that second link in the description. You will see exactly how I'm consistently using this to make money within the market. Remember when we were buying put options on Visa at the gap close reversal and it absolutely got crushed on this day right here when it gapped down? We did the same thing today. So check this out. In terms of the real-time alerts, this was purely based off of the watch list. If you go right here at 9:36 a.m., I had alerted that I bought a 212.5 strike on Visa stock. May 6th expiration, I bought the puts at 147. This is a high confidence setup, and I'm currently sized in of half of what I want. And then at 9:41 a.m., just 4 minutes later, that's when I added the rest of my size to this A1 setup. In terms of my sells, I'm gonna be explaining to you on why I sold 1/3 too soon, and then why I sold the other 2/3 for 100%. And then in terms of I had a small position left, I sold those for above 230%. With that being said, I'm gonna show you how I was able to buy these put options. Check this out. The high of day 1 minute candle is at 9:36 a.m. Who is doing it? Who is buying put options, the contracts at the lows, when the stock is at the exact high right before the stock has a reversal and sells off? Who's doing it? You have to ask yourself, who is setting the trend? Who is getting in before the massive crash? I'm doing it. And then in terms of my ad, look at my ad. My ad was perfect. Right before the last rip, I added at 9:41 a.m. This is all alerted within real time. You could see the ad 9:41 a.m. You could see the alert 9:36 a.m. Look at the put options. These are the contracts that I bought. I got in at the exact low at 9:36 a.m. Look at this. Look at the contracts. They had a gap up. The puts had a gap up. They came back down to the previous closing price on the contracts. As soon as they hit the previous closing price, they had a reversal and they shot back up and printed like crazy. They went from 140s to 820s. I got a comment on my channel the other day saying, why is this guy interested in Visa and trading Visa? The stock only dropped a couple of points. Within those couple of points, if you trade the put options, you can turn $150 into $800 in one single trading day. This is why I absolutely love trading the options. It minimizes your risk. For me, that's a huge position size. 20% of my account, that's a big position size. That has to be an A1 full confidence setup. I do not recommend taking more than 20% of a position size. I would stick to 10%. But with that being said, with this particular setup, I had identified, and I'm going to show you how I did this. I was studying Visa, right? Your previous support is right here. This is your previous support towards 212 to 213 with big upside potential. It's been reacting as resistance. You can see there was a gap to fill right here. It closed the gap, had a reversal, sold off hard. It's been reacting as resistance, selling off. Every single time Visa stock popped back up to this previous support at 213 for 4 days in a row now, it's been selling off on every single riff. So it's key resistance, shorting into that pop when you get the bearish confirmation at that previous support, playing for the gap to fill below. There's a gap to fill below at 201.10. All it's been trying to do this entire week is turn this previous support into resistance, sells off every pop, and goes lower to fill this gap below. Goes lower, goes lower, goes lower, goes lower to fill this gap below, right? That's one part of the strategy. But without this, I'm not buying the put options. That's basic price action. That's basic support and resistance to play for the gap to fill below. But I need something even better on top of that, which is the gap close reversal. Take a look at this Visa here. Every single time it spikes right here, check this out. You have this spike into the close. You have this spike into the close just like yesterday. It has the morning pop, hits the previous closing price, fills the gap, and then it sells off hard, has a reversal, comes back down to fill that gap below, right? You can visually see right here. Look at this, guys. There's a gap to fill at 213. It rips up right before close into the morning. Remember, we were playing puts on this. We absolutely crushed it. It filled the gap, started selling off, went from green to red, and it sold off very, very hard to 207. Those puts were up over 300%. The same exact thing happened today. It had the rip into the close yesterday. It gapped down this time instead of up. And I told you guys, this is looking very bearish. The market is looking very bearish overall as SPY had that previous closing price. Remember, if you go back and watch the videos, remember I told you guys, you want to buy put options on SPY? Wait for it to go to 427.81. That's when you should play the puts. Look at it now. It went all the way down to 409.44. History repeated itself. It was a bear trap. And with that being said, I had recognized that the market was extremely bearish into the overall morning. And I told myself, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to chase. I'm not going to try buying puts on SPY. I'm not going to try buying puts on stocks that gap down until they rip back up to the previous closing price. And Visa, out of many, including Facebook and all the other ones, was the only one that I found that ripped back up to the previous closing price while other stocks were selling off. And as soon as it closed that gap, just like it previously did, and it started forming this bearish pin, I bought the put options. When I see this top wick, see the top wick at the previous closing price, see the top wick at the lower highs, that's where I'm buying. I'm buying those puts into the rip, into the top wick, right? I like buying puts into those rips at the previous closing price, not into the dips, into the rips, right? Sell high, buy the puts, sell high, right? You know the saying goes, buy low, sell high. So that's what I did. I played the gap close reversal to then fill the gap to fill below on Visa. There was a gap to fill below right here on Visa stock at an average cost, and it almost filled. This went to $203 today. This gap has been trying to fill all week at 201.10. So that's how I was able to get the best entry on Visa. It gapped down, it ripped back up to fill the gap. Once it went from green to red, right? It closed the gap, it went green, then it went back to red. I bought the puts. Once it formed lower highs, see how it's no longer going back to the previous closing price, it's forming lower highs. I added to the puts, and then it instantly sold off. Every single time this stock has been ripping and closing the gap, you can see right here, there was a gap to fill. It's the same pattern. Look at this. You have the power hour rip, you have the power hour rip. It fills the gap, it fills the gap. Once it fills the gap, it has a reversal. and then it comes back down to fill the gap below. The most simplest strategy in the book that sets the trend. See how simple and see how easy trading can be if you use this one simple gap close reversal to fill the gap below strategy, the best strategy in 2022 that I've recently used to crush it on Visa. This is all you need. This is all you have to trade. When I'm crushing it, when I'm killing it like this is all I want to do. I don't want to trade anything else. I don't care about other people's strategies. I don't care about trading other setups. All I want to do is trade what I'm most confident in, what I know what works for me. Scale the account, compound the account, figure out what type of price action you like, what type of strategy you like, what works best for me. And what works best for you. And for me, I'm telling you straight up, in terms of 2022, I've checked my results, I've checked my trading logs. The gap close reversal, buy puts to then play for the gap to fill below is the best strategy. You got a gap to fill right here. It has a reversal. It comes crashing back down to fill the gap below. Okay, so let's get a little bit more advanced now. How do you know when to lock in profits? I'm going to show you. The big win target is right here. On this day, it got, and this is recently, so you use recent history to measure price action. On this day, it got to a high of 213.61. It quickly sold off to a low of 206. So it dropped 7 points from the highs, right at the gap close reversal price. So you do the math. Right here, the previous closing price is at 214. You subtract that by 7 points, and your target is going to be 207. And you could see it went even lower, right? So that's how you measure your big win price target. Now, how do you know in terms of key levels to take profits along the way? Well, this level right here, this is a resistance level, right? If this turns into support, Visa is going to start to have a reversal, and then it's going to pop back up to the next support level, which is right here. So this is your box. This is your box. I'm going to draw a box for you. This is how you know when to lock in profits. This is a box. Right here as Visa, so you get in at the gap close reversal level, you hold it. This is your box. If it breaks above 212, that's your max risk. You have to get out. So if it tanks below 212 and it starts bouncing off of 211, it was trying to bounce right here off of 211. So I started playing it safe, and I told myself, I don't want to risk the high of this box. I'm just going to play it safe, lock in profits. If I were to risk the high of this box, I would have made a much more substantial win. My portfolio would have been up over 40% on the day, but I didn't want to take that risk. This is why you have to know, what are you comfortable with risking, right? So in terms of how do I measure this, you can just visually see. This is a resistance level with big downside potential. If it bottoms here and reacts to support, it's going to rip back to your initial entry. And when the stock dropped off here to this 211, I was already up 90%, right? And I don't want to give that back. So if it starts to bounce at this level, I can either get out there, sell some off, and then hold some for the bigger move. And then I could just tell myself, what's your risk? Are you going to risk the low? Are you going to risk the low towards this channel? Are you going to risk the middle? Or are you going to risk right here? This is the max risk. The max risk was 212. If it goes above 212, it's going to have a reversal and go back to your initial entry. That's how you measure your risk. Use the box theory. So you got to figure out, what are you comfortable with risking? Do you want to risk 212, give back some profits for the bigger move? Or do you just want to play it safe? And when it hits 211, just get out, take your gains, leave some small size on the ride, right? That's how you measure your risk. And then if it cracks that 211 level, that's a big downside potential level, where that move we talked about, where we measured price action, where it sells off 7 points from the high, is really going to kick in, right? Because you could just visually see right here, once it tanked below 211, it sold off all the way to 205 rapidly. So in this situation, and this is something I could have done better on, I left on very, very small size for the bigger win. This is something I could have done better on, was just tell myself, you know what? 211 has big downside potential. I'm just going to risk the high of the box. And it never went to the high of the box. The high of the box was determined by this low right here with big upside, meaning if it goes above this low, it has a reversal and rips back up to your initial entry. So that's like the max risk. That's what I could have done better. And that's something I want to work on. I want to work on risking a little bit more towards the higher end of the box. Lately, in terms of my trading, I've been risking towards the low of this box, towards the middle of this box, right? And when it hits that level, I just get out on the pop and play it safe, right? So that's something that I have to work more towards on, is understanding the situation. And I was so confident in this too, but understanding this situation where it just makes sense to aim for the bigger win, and it just makes sense to hold it. And then if it touches the highs of the box and goes out, then get out, play it safe, take the smaller win in order to, try and play for the bigger win. It just made sense in that particular situation. But see, that's how you measure price action, right? So that's how you do it, guys. That's the game plan. That's how you do it. That is the gap close reversal to fill the gap below strategy. If you want a more in-depth advanced version, if you want to see how this is consistently working, click that second link below in the description. Now, I want to give a big shout out to members within Trader Society. We had some people absolutely crush it today, man. Some people had a really big day. 25% return on the portfolio. Congratulations, man. Keith, big shout out to my guy, Keith. 3 accounts, TD Ameritrade up 42%, Robinhood up 16%, Webull up 28%. Each of his accounts averaged out to be 2 times the cost of Trader Society, which is a one-time fee lifetime program. If you want to check it out, it's the first link down below in the description. You can get started trading with us early as tomorrow morning. You get instant lifetime access. I'm telling you, with these 0 date expirations in this game plan I have, we should crush it tomorrow as long as they can go to our key levels, right? Tomorrow should be another phenomenal green day. I'm planning to absolutely crush it. Big shout out to 15% return right here. Absolutely killing it, man. Profits from V on the whole account. Just getting started, man. Absolutely killing it. 29% return on the portfolio, made more of the cost of the Trader Society. Lewis, very, very nicely done, man. 14% here. First day here. Nicely done. Alex, consistently crushing it. $3,300 profit. Garris, absolutely killing it, man. 120% return. $250 profit on Visa put options. Ended up playing Facebook put options as well. 255% return. My portfolio is up 21% on the day. This guy has absolutely been killing it. He's been absolutely killing it, and all he does is trade Tesla. All he does is trade Tesla, up over $10,000, up over 375% total return on Tesla put options. Absolutely killing it, Lee. Congratulations. Andy, $3,300 profit, man. And then 18% return right here. Snarf, 30% return. Alex, again, absolutely killing it. Up over $10,000 on the day. Like, you guys are destroying it, man. Big shout out to everybody within Trader Society. We're going to absolutely crush it tomorrow. If you want to check it out, it's the first link in the description. Within Trader Society, you get to watch me trade live every single day at market open. You get access to the video lesson library where you get to learn how to trade price action, how to trade the unique gap trading strategies that I've created, how to trade both ways, right? How to profit in a bull and bear market, how to go long and short, how to buy puts and calls, right? You also get access to mindset, psychology, position sizing, risk management training, right? And then the chat room. The chat room is like the most valuable asset with the community we have that's dedicated to trading these gap close reversal strategies, right? And then you get access to one-on-one private direct messaging. There's so much more to it. Check it out. It's the first link in the description. As soon as you join, you get instant lifetime access for a one-time fee. That's a limited time only. You will be grandfathered in for a lifetime. Within time, the prices will go up drastically. I have members who join this program, even some of them before they join, make back multiple costs of the program on their first week. It's absolutely crazy, man. We have 6-figure and 7-figure, and we have 1 9-figure trader in here. So let's get into the plan now. In terms of the plan heading into tomorrow, we need to talk about the SPY. The SPY is going to help us drastically with this plan. So in terms of the video that I made yesterday, I explained to you guys how to determine if this is a bull or bear trap. And I told you the 2 case scenarios that I thought can happen was if SPY can hold 425 and break above 430, we're going to see a gap fill to 438. And then I told you the other case possible scenario is it has a micro pullback and sells off before it continues to go up. From a macro perspective, I was thinking it would go higher to 438, but for the micro, I was explaining how we could pull back before that happens. As you can see, SPY had a gap close reversal. There was a gap to fill at 427.81, which is the best level I told people to buy the put options at. It got to 429.66. It gapped down massively, sold off hard. Once I noticed that futures were selling off hard and SPY was looking very weak and it already cracked 425, I had told members around like 3 a.m. that the play is going to be to buy put options at the previous closing price, like I had mentioned within the pre-market watch list. When I noticed that this was just selling off here at 3:40 a.m., just blowing through all the key support levels already hitting 425, I told people we got to wait for the previous closing price to buy puts, right? It never went back to the previous closing price, which is completely fine because I had Visa. I told you guys, I am going to trade the best setups at the best prices. I'm not going to chase SPY at support. SPY can easily rip back up to 429.06, right? We don't know if it's going to go back to the previous closing price, but what we do know is if it does go back to the previous closing price, we're going to get the best entry like we did with V. It's just crazy, man. I absolutely love it. Stocks were selling off so hard, Visa had the micro rip at the previous closing price for the exact best entry, for the exact best strategy. You're exposed to so much less risk and such a bigger return if you wait for them to retrace back to the previous closing price. Do not fear of missing out. Wait for it to go back to the previous closing price. You can watch other stocks. Some of them are gonna slightly not follow SPY for micro minutes, rip back up to the previous closing price, then you buy the puts when it goes back to red, forms the bearish candlesticks, ride it back down to fill the gap below. So in terms of the game plan for SPY, right now, this is currently gapping down. It closed at 413.81. It's having a small gap down at 412.50. So I'm gonna tell you, this is the game plan. If it does gap down tomorrow, the previous closing price, 413.81, if you see it go green to red, it has the rejection, buy the put options. SPY is extremely bearish right now. It has turned, this is why it's just so bearish. This is your big upside potential level. Right here, before the Fed meeting, this sold off hard, big upside potential. If this 414 to 413.81 zone reacts as a resistance level and it's currently breaking down to extended hours trading, SPY is going to get absolutely crushed. This was a huge, big upside key support level. If this reacts as a resistance tomorrow, SPY is gonna sell off very, very hard. And you might be wondering, well, how low can this sell off? Fridays have been absolutely brutal lately. In terms of how low can this actually sell off, we're looking at a zone of 410 to 405. 410 would be the next support level. If it cracks 410, then we are headed to about 406 to 405. That would be the zone. The best price is at 413.81. And what I want you to do is I want you to keep stocks on your radar and see if they can rip back to the previous closing price. Because sometimes these stocks drift away from SPY for the little micro, and look for the morning rip. If they touch the previous closing price, turn red, form the bearish candlesticks, and then add into the lower highs. So this is exactly what it looks like. This is exactly what it is that we're looking for heading into tomorrow, put option focused. If they gap down, wait for them to rip back up to the previous closing price. Once it goes back to red and rejects, buy the puts. When it forms lower highs, see how these are lower highs towards this little support right here, towards the top of these wicks right here, that's bearish. Short, add more into the lower highs, very simple. Max risk is slightly above the previous closing price. Small losses, big win potential. That's what we're doing, guys. We're getting in at the best prices. We don't fear missing out. We trade the best setups at the best prices, man. We compound these accounts. It scales exponentially over time. Once you get in on these setups, these are all you're going to want to trade. I'm telling you, I'm really just trying to get to a point where I'm just trading mainly just this strategy and just trading like 2, 3. In terms of this strategy I shared with you here on V, this comes around, I would say the best ones come around 2 to 3 times per week, and that is all you need. That is so much more than enough. So I'm just locked in, locked in. I'm just trying to trade this one. So that's the game plan for tomorrow, right? So have a list of stocks. In terms of some other stocks, I'll give you Facebook. Do the same thing with Facebook, right? Now, what happens if they gap up? What happens if they start blowing through the previous closing price? Then we're just gonna have to wait. So if they gap up tomorrow, if they go red, we buy the puts. If they gap up, they hit the previous closing price, they go red, they turn the key breakdown into resistance, we buy the puts there, right? So just study all these previous closing prices. Now, if they gap up and they don't go back down to the previous closing price, or if they're bouncing and they're showing strong support at the previous closing price, we literally just wait for them to rip back up to this 429 level on SPY, which is very unlikely, but that's what we do, right? So the game plan is very, very simple. Do not get stuck bag holding a put. I just explained to you and told you how to play it. The current previous closing prices, once you see them struggle, react as a resistance breakdown, you buy the puts, use a tight stop. You get stopped out, wait for SPY to go to 429. Whether it's tomorrow, whether it's this week, I highly doubt it's going to happen tomorrow, but there's always a possibility in this insane market. You have to play it safe, you have to cut losses quickly, and you just have to understand, we just had a very big move to the downside. But in terms of what is likely to happen, we're likely going to see just that sell-off, right? But you just have to be careful. Respect the market, respect the risk. Don't go thinking it's going to be the end of the world and SPY is going to tank and it's going to hit new 52-week lows tomorrow because it's Friday. Like, respect the risk, respect the square boxes, respect the potential of, yeah, this could have a reversal. This could potentially fill the gap, right? Always think for the worst in that situation. So that's how I'm planning to play it. Very, very simple. Like I said, if SPY gaps up, wait for it to go back to 429 or wait for it to drop to 413.81. Once one of those two levels struggles react as a resistance, right? So resistance here, key breakdown here, 413.81. You buy the puts, write it back down, set a stop of like a $2 max risk on those. And then the same thing goes for the stocks, right? Explain to you how to play them up for the gap up, explain to you for the gap down. So tomorrow's game plan is extremely, extremely simple. And we got the 0 date expirations lined up. The top ones I'm going to be watching are like Visa, Facebook, and then I'm going to look for more. VERU is getting a little interesting. I'm going to sway away from it though. But yeah, I'm just going to sway away from this one. I mean, we could see how it reacts if it goes to 942, but this one is tough and the volume is just too light. So yeah, that's my game plan. That's what I'm going to be focused on tomorrow. I'm telling you, in terms of this video and in terms of the game plan for tomorrow, it's going to be so much more useful and so much more easier within the pre-market watch list and at the live trading stream live at market open. So guys, that is going to wrap up today's lesson. Make sure you watch that second video in the description to master this strategy. It's truly life-changing. It's changed my life. It's changed students' lives, and it will truly help you become a consistently profitable trader, right? So with that being said, if you do want to be a part of Traders Society, it is going to be the first link down below within the description. Click the first link, watch the short video, read everything that's included within the program. If it sounds good, if you feel like it's the right fit for you, then I would encourage you to invest into your education, guys. I'm telling you, this is the cost of like one bad trade. It's a one-time fee. It's a lifetime access. You're going to surround yourself with the right community, with the right strategy, with the right education. You are going to learn how to set the trend, how to get in before the trend reversals like I did with Visa stock. It is possible, man. People laugh all the time. You can't short stocks at the high of day. You can't get in at the top. You can't sell high. It is possible. I am doing it on a weekly basis, consistently growing this account. It is possible. I'm living proof. If you watch that video in the second description, you will see it's a proven strategy. It's consistency. It's not luck, and it's working, and it's changing our lives. So if you want to be a part of this opportunity and get in at the best rate, the best cost of the program, since my following is fairly small right now, and you guys believe in me and you invest into me before it gets bigger, I will give you the best price, the lowest price this program will ever be cost at. And it's a one-time fee, and it's a lifetime access. We have several members we have a couple members who made hundreds of thousands of dollars this year within the program. We have several who've made over 5 figures, right? So obviously I'm charging way too cheap, and I'm aware of that. So when the time is right, I will be raising the prices drastically this year. With that being said, now is the time to get in. We're going to have a great trading day expected to be tomorrow. We're going to trade the 0 date expirations. We're going to scale back in our position sizing, right? 0 date expirations don't have to be risky. The returns are going to be a lot more exponential, which means your losses are also going to be a little bit more exponential than usual. So the contracts are going to be a lot cheaper, and the returns are going to be a lot bigger, and the losses are going to be typically bigger than you would normally lose percentage-wise. So that means you scale back in the dollars you put in your position size. You minimize your risk. That's why I love trading options. You minimize your risk. That's the power of options, especially if you know how to scale in, get at the best prices, average down. And you can make very lucrative trading returns if you understand risk management, position sizing, when to get in, the square box trading theory that I showed you with V. I'm telling you guys, this is game changing. It's going to take time though. It is going to take time. There's a lot to learn, but it's simple. This is fairly simple. You got to be disciplined. You got to stick to trading the best setups at the best prices. I'm telling you, once you understand the setups, you're going to be just focused on trading those. I don't want to trade anything else. I know what works for me. And I've seen me on my green days. I've seen me on my red days. Red days don't feel that good. But if you're doing what works best for you, it's just a part of the game. It's just a part of the long run. But as long as I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, the red days just don't occur that much. The win rate is above 70% with this strategy, and it just works. And it's a strategy that gets you into the best price. Big wins, small losses. You've seen the potential with the Visa put option that I showed you today. So the opportunity is going to be down below. Like I said, you get lifetime access to the chat room, to the daily stock watch list that's going to prepare you to trade for that day, to the stock analysis in real time, to my real-time trade alerts, not for you to follow, but to understand and see what it is that I'm doing within the market, to see me use my strategy in real time. You also get access to the live trading streams every single day at Market Open, where you get to watch me trade live, hear the commentary, see the charts, see my live open portfolio, see me trading live in action. These are just the recaps. You want to, if you really want to learn how to trade, you're going to have to see it live trading in action, right? Where you actually get to see me use that strategy live in real time. You can go back, watch all the recordings. You also get access to the video lesson library that's going to teach you the gap trading strategies, how to trade price action, how to get in on these big moves, these key levels. That's all we're focused on, how to trade both ways. Risk management, position sizing, psychology, mindset trading, access to the chat room. There's so much more to it. Check it out. It's the first link in the description. This is the best value offer. I'm telling you, man, it's scaling like crazy. It's absolutely insane on how fast we're growing with such a small following. So with that being said, I will see you guys live tomorrow at Market Open. We're going to absolutely crush it. Thank you so much for staying to the end and investing into your education.